Gorbachev didn't want to destroy the Soviet Union. He wanted to save it. But his attempt to fix it through Perestroika, restructuring, failed. And it failed for one simple reason. You can't rely on a corrupt engine to power reform. One of the main pillars of Perestroika was partial privatization. State-owned factories were granted more autonomy. In some cases, they were allowed to sell products on the side for profit. But here's the problem. The government still owned the factories. And more critically, the government was still the sole purchaser of goods. That's not privatization. That's state capitalism with the same rotten incentives. When there's no real market competition, when factories don't need to impress consumers but only need to maintain relationships with bureaucrats, what happens? They bribe government officials, cut corners, produce low-quality goods, and call it profit. They don't compete to innovate. They compete to manipulate the system. Gorbachev's system still relied on the same old corrupt ministries, the same people who had failed for decades. These institutions weren't reformed. They were simply asked to regulate a new hybrid economy. Predictably, the result was massive corruption, confusion, and economic collapse. If Gorbachev had wanted real reform, he would have needed to create new regulatory bodies with vetted, accountable individuals, abolish obsolete Soviet institutions that served no purpose in a modern market, fully privatize entire sectors, breaking the state's monopoly over industries and letting real competition arise. Build rule of law, not rule by connections. But that never happened. Instead, the system was asked to reform itself, like asking a failing engine to fix its own breakdown without ever replacing the parts. The tragedy of Gorbachev's reforms wasn't just that they failed, it's that they couldn't succeed, because they were built on the same corrupt foundation. Had the Soviet Union adopted more aggressive, structured, and clean reforms, it might have survived in some form. But half measures, in the face of systemic rot, were not enough.